two letters seem to be everywhere these days. AI. As you no doubt know, it stands for artificial intelligence. Maybe you're already using it, but we need to learn more about it because, as Alexandra reports, it's going to be a big part of our future.
So what is AI?
Computers and robots and stuff?
Yes, you can think about AI as sort of a computerized robot, and you might be surprised to hear that robots aren't a modern invention. Almost 3,000 years ago, in the epic Greek story, the Iliad, the blind poet Homer tells of a robotic winged man made of bronze who protected the island of Crete from invaders. Let's zoom ahead to the silent movies of the early 1900s. For the first time, audiences saw robots. Well, actors playing robots. Movies would go on to showcase metal machines that would do our bidding.
You will meet a charming character in The Robot, able to produce on order 10 tons of lead or a slinky evening gown. Always at your service.
But not everyone was charmed by the thought of robots supposedly at our service. Sounding an alarm, people asked, could these things take over the world?
Get the Pentagon. Class A emergency. The Joint Chiefs of Staffs are expecting the call. The rocket has just been entered by a robot. It lives.
Life? Consciousness? A machine?
It intends to put itself section by section into orbit around the Earth. And from that day forever forward, Earth will be its slave.
Fortunately, in the movie, the Army moved in to save mankind. Nowadays, we're used to seeing robots in the movies and on TV. And more, we're seeing all kinds of robots in the real world. They can be found on factory assembly lines doing repetitive tasks. We have robots in our homes and in our cars. They can play chess and take our pets for a walk. Some are even made to look human. A bit eerie, no?
Engine ignition, 2, 1, 0. Right, and liftoff.
Robots are also being used to explore other planets, like Mars.
Confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.
Once on the surface of the red planet, the rover can be driven by humans here on Earth. Or it can decide on its own what path to take.
We give it specific stops along the route, but it chooses how to get there, and we trust it to avoid the hazards along that path.
So why all the fuss about artificial intelligence? Because AI, computer systems, whether in robots or other devices, are not just taking orders from us. They're learning how to think for themselves. And that's truly a game changer, on a worldwide scale. We'll tell you why when Teen Kids News returns. In 2001, A Space Odyssey is considered the best science fiction film of all time. The computer, called HAL, is the brain of the spaceship, responsible for running all its systems, which it does well, until HAL goes rogue.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Based on the book by Arthur C. Clarke, the story is an object lesson on what can happen when machines programmed to think for themselves no longer obey the commands from humans. Interestingly, we found that when it comes to artificial intelligence, most of us aren't worried about machines taking over, like the killer robots in the Terminator movies. Instead, we see AI as little more than a great tool for schoolwork.
I used it once in yearbook class to generate some ideas for headline captions.
Yes, I have, for like research purposes.
I have used AI for classes to help me out not to cheat.
And we'll talk about cheating in a minute. But first, we need to understand that AI is much more than just a research hack. To get some real intelligence on artificial intelligence, we're joined by Professor Marcel O'Gorman from the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada. He's also the author of numerous books on digital media. Professor, As mentioned, many teens think of AI as something they experience through a device, like a computer or smartphone. For example,
artificial intelligence is a software system that combs the internet and other sources of information to find the best suited answer for any question that you give.
It's basically a computer or some kind of computer program spitting back information.
Different websites use AI. You got ChatGPT. Snapchat has a little AI. Facebook and Meta's involving AI. Same with Instagram.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
That's definitely the tip of the iceberg. And as we know about icebergs, most of them are hidden way under the water. And the same goes for AI. So AI is essentially a form of automation, like any other form of automation, like a robot in a car factory. But AI is automating tasks that involve thinking, which is very different. It's not just human labor, it's brain power. AI does comb the internet and it looks for data and gives you answers, but it also finds its answers from data sets that we don't even know about, the massive data sets, many of which are kept secret. And it learns from them so it can predict what the best possible answer would be to any given scenario. Those data sets might even include our own data from places like Instagram, for example, or other social media sites.
Did you guys hear that? AI may get some of its facts from social media like Instagram, and we all know how trustworthy social media can be. Besides research and help with writing, how else is AI being used?
Well, AI can be used anywhere a task can be, a mental task needs to be automated and made more efficient. So, for example, sports teams use AI to figure out which players they should put together during a game to find out who would be the best players at winning a game or which combinations of players. It's also used by banks and investors to figure out the most efficient ways to make more money.
Of all the promises of AI, what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about uses of AI that perform tasks that humans have been trying to perform for years, which means what can make us thrive better? What can make our world thrive better? So I'm interested in AI applications that help humans and the environment thrive. So it could be used to help figure out treatments for health problems or to cure diseases, for example. That's a possibility. It can be used to better understand how humans are impacting our environment and how we can take better care of the planet.
And our planet certainly needs all the help it can get. What are some of the downsides of AI?
Well, unfortunately, because AI is very expensive and because it's making very wealthy people more wealthy, it's increasing the wealth disparity in our culture. Most AI companies are more concerned about making money than they are concerned about making human lives better or making the planet a better place to live. AI also uses vast amounts of natural resources, and that's a problem too.
Most of us have noticed lately that when you Google something, the first answer is not always a link to a source. Instead, the first response is often generated by AI. This symbol means the information was created by Gemini, another example of artificial intelligence. Professor, how reliable is that AI search response?
Yeah, I mean, the AI search response is about as reliable as a very general Google search. I personally ignore it because I want a reliable source. I want to know the context of where the information comes from and who created it. So I'm going to dig deeper. And I would say if you want reliable information, dig deeper and look for a reliable source, a source that you can understand and that comes from humans, that has been approved by humans.
Here's an issue that's very real for you and me, using AI to help us with homework.
There was this one time when I actually needed help on homework, and at the time I couldn't contact nobody. I was by myself. And so I used AI, but not to cheat on the homework, but really just to be okay, I got this answer right, I got this answer wrong, I'll do it over.
So is it okay to use AI for homework? Or is it cheating?
It depends on how you're using AI. So if you're using part of AI, something generated, and you're copying and pasting it into an assignment, and you're not telling your teacher that it came from AI, that's cheating. You could, of course, quote the AI if you want, and then put it in your references and say, I got this from ChatGPT, but that might not make you look very smart. If you're just using AI to do some general brainstorming or to find general information about a topic, that's fine. But you should always dig down deeper and go to actual original sources of information rather than relying on the AI.
Any final advice?
Yeah, I would say experiment with AI and have fun. Find ways to play around with it. But be transparent about how you're using it, especially if you're using it for schoolwork. And keep in mind that every time you use it, you're using a vast amount of natural resources. And so you should probably use it with moderation, but still try to have fun with it.
Great advice. Thank you for joining us, Professor.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Like with so many things, AI has its pros and cons. On the plus side, AI helps in decision making. It improves efficiency, it can free us from repetitive tasks, and can help us find innovative solutions to problems, large and small. On the negative, if not properly programmed, AI can have hidden biases. It could be a threat to our privacy and even our security. It can cost people their jobs, and as we heard Professor O'Gorman point out, AI uses up natural resources. That's because the hardware that runs AI needs a lot of electricity, water, and minerals that are in scarce supply, called rare earth minerals. Clearly, we need to use AI intelligently. For Teen Kids News, I'm Alexandra.